Now, the endemic rate of unemployment among South Africa's youth population has reached a critical point. It has been described as a potential time bomb. In an earlier recording for tonight's political exchange, I asked Finance Minister Pravin Gordhan about the country's plans to address youth unemployment through his proposed youth employment incentive strategy.
One of the tragedies, if you like, of the current recession, which started in the Western world in 2007, 2008, is its impact on employment more generally. So in South Africa, we lost 1 million jobs. And in particular, its impact on youth unemployment. Now, what's interesting is that on both counts, our numbers are very similar, if not the same, as Spain. Mm-hmm. And today, if we had a conversation within the G20, the conversation would be about how do we get growth, how do we get jobs, and in particular, how do we get youth or young people to actually have their first work experience. And South Africa, in a sense, is part of that global trend. Some of our numbers are worse than others. Sometimes our numbers are slightly better than others. Secondly, we've recognized for some time that our education system is partly working, but it needs massive improvement. Our skills system is being rebuilt, both in terms of private sector contribution to skills and government's contribution to skills development. Our vocational education system, again, is being repaired at the moment and being put right. We've had government programs, what we call public works programs, in very different forms related to the environment, to work in the rural areas, to construction projects, and other kinds of projects throughout, which has given some, about 1 million sort of job opportunities to young people. But the key in an economy like ours is the private sector, because they make up 70% of our economy. And the question was, how do we get the private sector to start employing young workers and giving them their first work opportunity? And in that sense, the concept of the incentive is about saying, how do we share costs? How do we not just incentivize you to bring in young people, but we understand that's going to be a cost, particularly if they're inexperienced young people, and the state is willing to share these costs. But the package that is being negotiated and put together right now is a package which includes all of the elements I'm talking about. Training, vocational education, public works programs, and indeed the role of the private sector through this cost-sharing mechanism. The discussions are fairly advanced. I'm not too aware of all of the details, but we're hoping that the design elements will become clearer in the next few weeks. And the reason that we mention it in the budget is that this incentive works off the tax system. And where an employer employs someone, and when they submit their pay-as-you-earn or employees tax to our revenue service, they will get a deduction on what they actually have to pay over, and that's the way in which we will be sharing costs with them.